What's going on, everybody? It's Ricky with Videohomicide, back with another movie recommendation. Before we get into the movie recommendation, let me sort of set the scenery, or paint the picture, if you will, around the time that this flick came out and what I was doing personally, because I feel like that is going to lead to points that I make later on in the video. But basically, at the time, what do we got? We got South Park. We got Chappelle's Show. We got Grand Theft Auto 3. We got Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I think San Andreas was out in 2004 as well. I could be wrong on that. But besides that, the music at the time, you know, it was 50 Cent. It was like on the mainstream level. Like I didn't discover the stuff that I enjoy now. I didn't discover until well into high school. So at the time, I'm 12 years old. I'm listening to 50 Cent. I'm listening to fucking Ludacris. We saw David Banner live, 50 Cent live. So that was sort of the music scene. Like I didn't really know what my musical taste was again until high school, when I discovered like Wu-Tang Clan and Mobb Deep and EPMD and just everything that I still listen to now. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of people are like that. So we're 12 years old. We had already dabbled in the weed a little bit. So this movie came along and basically changed everything. And the movie today that we're going to be talking about is Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. So, like, we had already seen movies like Jay and Silent Bob, Half-Baked, How High. Some of us had seen the Cheech and Chong films. I'd seen a few of them. Up in Smoke, next movie, which was my first and my favorite, and Still Smoking, which is my least favorite of those three. I know there's a bunch of other Cheech and Chong films, but those are the ones that I grew up on. Those are the ones that I love. I remember the one was always on TV where they have like this big tent covering like their weed plants and shit. I just always remember that. And I think Sergeant Stadenko is in that. I'm actually currently playing the fuck out of the Cheech and Chong video game on the cell phone, and the Trailer Park Boys at one as well, because it's the same developer. It's essentially the same game, but I love the way that the characters look. They're animated, like they're not animated, but like they just are drawn so cool. And like when I look at them, like that basically inspired me as well as the Garbage Pail Kid cards, but like my Cinema 187 cards, like they all kind of have like that, I don't know, like bold black outline, and just it's a good look. We'll leave it at that. If you've not at least checked out the artwork for that Cheech and Chong game, you're missing out, man, because it's cool. Like even like there's Wamba, help me Wamba, like it's fucking crazy. But anyways, getting back to Harold and Kumar. So this is a movie that to me was almost unreal at the time, because it had such a strange title, like Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. What the fuck is White Castle? In Canada, we don't have White Castle. So that was already strange, and it just seemed so like, I don't know, because like the only thing you can kind of compare it to are the other stoner comedies at the time. Like Jay and Silent Bob, Cheech and Chong, you know, like they all sort of like were the names of the people. So with John Cho playing Harold and Cal Penn playing Kumar, this is a movie that is so special and important to me, and just shaped my sense of humor in a way. Like I said, like Chappelle's Show was all the rage back then. South Park, all that type of bullshit. It was just like the raunchiest stuff, and we were so young and soaking it up and normalizing this insane fucking shit. You know, like there's no reason. Not every sketch on Chappelle's Show, but there was some sketches on Chappelle's Show that kids didn't need to watch. Okay, and there was even like I watched them at the time and loved them, but I mean, like, would I let my kid watch Chappelle's Show? I'm not saying anything about my mom, but I'm saying, would I let my kid watch Chappelle's Show when he's like fucking 10? I think it came out in 2001, so that makes me 9. You know, and Chappelle's Show, I remember when there was like advertising for shit for that fucking show before it came out. Same with Kenny versus Spenny, which is another fucking phenomenal piece of Canadian programming. If you've not watched Kenny versus Spenny, but you have heard or have seen Trailer Park Boys, you're missing out, because Kenny versus Spenny played right either before or after Trailer Park Boys back in the day when it was coming on TV live, Channel 39 for us, Showcase. But I'm telling you, this movie has so many memorable parts, so many good one-liners, and I'm just going to kind of glaze over some of my favorite parts of the film. So obviously, in the opening scene of the film, Kumar, who's Cal Penn, he's at a fucking like interview to go to this medical school, and the guy's like, the guy he's talking to, I believe his name's Fred Wolf is the actor's name. He's recently passed away, but he's saying, me and your father, we used to be on the, we were going to college together, all that. And then all of a sudden Kumar gets a phone call, picks up the phone, and he goes, I'm not doing nothing important, I can talk. He's in the middle of a fucking med school interview. And then he starts talking about how, like, his buddy says, I won't be home until late. He's like, no, I got like a quarter of the best weed in New York City, blah, blah, blah. And like, obviously, New York City, I believe the weed laws, especially back then, were so insane. You could go to prison for like fuck all amount and shit like that. But I just loved that. I always thought that was so insane. And he's like, he goes, you got perfect, why don't you want to be a doctor? You got perfect MCAT scores. And he's like, just because you're hung like a moose don't mean you need to be a porn star. Or just stupid shit like that when I hear it, I still chuckle. You know what I mean? And obviously all the weed smoking moments, like when they're sitting on the couch and this fucking ad comes on TV where it's like these two guys and, don't you want to be cool? And the guy takes a toke and I'm so high, nothing can hurt me. And he goes into the fucking gun cabinet, pulls out a gun, sticks it in his mouth, blows his brains out, and Buddy goes, no! And then a fucking screen comes on, marijuana kills. And they're laughing their balls off at it, we're laughing our asses off at it, and it's parts like that they're poking fun at, like, how marijuana was, like, basically toted as, or whatever you want to say. You know what I mean? Like, people said that weed would make you crazy. Like, look at Reefer Madness back in, what was that, the 40s or 50s? I don't remember when that film came out. Reefer Madness, I don't think is like I've watched it on Reefer, and it's okay. It's whatever. I'd rather watch Harold and fucking Kumar, but obviously, I can't talk about Harold and Kumar without mentioning Freak Show, who's played by, I forget what his name is, the actor, but he was in fucking Law & Order SVU, he was in Oz, and he plays this guy, Freak Show, who's a tow truck driver that's completely deformed. He's got earwax dripping out of his fucking ears. He's got warts all over his nose. He's disgusting. And, there's a scene where, like, they're talking shit about him right beside him in the truck, and they're like, no, don't worry, he can't hear with all the ear crust. And then they're rolling along, and there's a dead silence, and he goes, I heard everything you said. It's so fucking crazy. And then they get to his house. They get to Freak Show's house because their car broke down on the way to White Castle. And he goes, yeah, you guys want to go inside, wash up, get something to eat, fuck my wife? Go right ahead. Mi casa es su casa. And you gotta imagine this fucking Law & Order SVU guy saying that. Like, that guy is a hell of an actor. Because, like, I think his name's Maloney or some shit like that in the Law & Order. But in this, he's a freak, man. So they go into the fucking place, and then, his wife ends up being this, like, fucking, like, blonde chick that's, like, the fucking, they're, like, all goo-goo gaga after, they want to fuck her and all this stuff. And she's like, oh, like, out of the blue, she's like, are you guys gonna fuck me? And then they, like, the Freak Show comes inside and rips off his clothes, like, rips off his overalls, he's wearing a Speedo. It's fucking crazy. In the sequel film, Guantanamo Bay, which is also pretty fucking awesome, they sort of, Freak Show is sort of swapped out for this redneck guy. That guy's a stand-up comedian. I forget what his name was, but Freak Show's a way better character. And obviously, Neil Patrick Harris, it makes a, that I didn't know who the fuck Neil Patrick Harris was until this movie, and then had to, like, look him up. I prefer his appearance in the film in the second one, where he's like fucking eating handfuls of mushrooms in the car and all that stuff. I thought that was hilarious. But the cop interaction that happened. Well, first of all, I fucking can't believe I forgot to mention the assholes that live in the building with them. These, like, extreme guys that are, like, punk rock type guys, and they're fucking extreme. Like, they're going kayaking and fucking paragliding or parasailing, whatever it is, jumping off a cliff with a fucking type shit. All right, I don't know why I made the fucking bird noise, but they run into them at this convenience store. Neil Patrick Harris steals their car, but they have this crazy interaction with, like, the owner of the store, and there's, like, a standoff. It's so fucking funny. I love it. And, like, they're so ridiculous at one point. Like, they're saying extreme, and, like, this one guy grabs a bag of extreme cheddar Doritos, and it's so fucked. Like they have this bit of a standoff, and it ends with Kumar and Harold leaving, and the one guy saying, "Thank you, come again," and and it's so racist, this movie, but like that, it made us people like kids my age, like everybody, not just like white kids, everyone. Like I went to a very like mixed race like school and shit. Like everyone was everyone was like taking this casual racism as humor, and it was fucking crazy. And like everyone like was laughing at stuff that totally would get you fucking murdered or hung at the stake, or what I mean, killed nowadays. So after you have like this interaction in the variety store with these racist assholes, they end up getting pulled over by this cop who's just the biggest prick of all time. Totally fucking racist asshole. But he goes, "What's your name?" And he goes, "Kumar." He says, "Kumar." He goes, "Kumar, what's that, like 2 O's or 5 U's?" And he goes, "Whatever happened to good old American names like Tom and Hank?" And then Harold goes, "Harold," and he's like sucking up to him, and he ends up meeting the guy that plays I forget. It's not Uncle Ruckus from Boondocks. I forget what the actor's name is, but he's in the prison, and he was like reading a book. Like he was in a Barnes and Nobles or some bullshit. Like his story is fucking hilarious, but he kind of gives him a bit of wisdom. And there's a scene in the film earlier where they end up going to this university to go see this chick that Harold likes, or this girl that likes Harold. My printer's calibrating, but in case that fucking noise registered. But they end up going to the university, finding this dope dealer who's a little weasel type, and he ends up getting arrested and all this stuff, and sells them like some weed that ends up getting spilt in the toilet. This movie's all over the fucking place. Like when I watch it now, I'm like, this movie is so like it's such like an adventure. You know what I mean? It's because there's so many different set pieces and things happening, but of course, like the scene where they ride the cheetah all through the woods and stuff's hilarious. And they do eventually get to White Castle, where Harold interacts with these assholes from his work and stuff. And they basically end up going home, and then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna go to Amsterdam." And at the sequel film, they end up going to Guantanamo Bay because they bring dope on the plane. And I might make a video on Harold and Kumar go to White Castle eventually as well, because that movie is fucking sweet. I love the guy. I don't know what his name is, but he's the guy that plays Lou in Hot Tub Time Machine. Fucking love him in that movie, man. I love how like ridiculous they are in that movie. Like when they get like Harold and Kumar's parents in there, and they got a translator, and they're talking to Harold's dad, and then all this, like Harold's dad's like this old Korean guy, and he goes, "Look," with the most American fucking accent. Like, it's so hilarious. It's so accurate too, right? Because people just assume, like, you look at a guy, the guy's been there for fucking 60 years, 50 years. He's gonna sound like where he's from, like in the city, whatever the fuck. But Harold and Kumar, definite classic. Love the movie. This was a sick fucking like this. Freddy Got Fingered. Trying to think of some other ones back in the day. There's just a bunch of like movies like that, like this, that were must watches. We had no right watching these movies. Like again, the Clayton Bigsby Chappelle Show sketch, I think, is probably the defining moment, along with the episode of South Park, the Halloween special, where Eric dresses up as Hitler, and then he ends up dressing up as a ghost, but he's really looking like a Klansman. That stuff cemented certain fucked up shit to be okay in my head as a kid. Not anymore. I can read between the lines now, obviously, but back then, people like Harold and Kumar had me laughing at some shit that I still think is fucking funny as fuck. And it's like at the end of Harold and Kumar, where it goes to the screen where it shows like the people that are wanted, and the 2 drawings that it shows. Perfect way to end a film like that. So, and perfect way to end this video, and we'll end it properly. So, Cinema 187 is my art and horror and exploitation art zine. Issues 1 through 5 currently available. Well, actually, I just lied to you. They're all out of print, except for issue 1 and 1 copy of issue 5. But the one thing I'd really want to plug is the cover for issue 6 is complete. So I'm stoked about that. And I can't wait to see it in print. So hopefully by Halloween I'll have that out. So with that being said, I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure you leave a 666 in the comments. And with that being said, adios. Also, if I didn't mention, to get the zines, cinema at cinema.187 on Instagram. Peace.